the mic, like almost like he public and stuff. We have questions from like people that we talk to. I mean, I would, but You should have been there on Friday. You should have been there on Friday. That was the school board screening. That would have been a great question. I would have asked you guys.
Candidates, one more instruction. There's a little black button on the microphone. Don't touch it. Do not touch that button. Are they all green? David, you want to?
Check 1, 2.
Test.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
All right, JT, you ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's candidate forum. We have different candidates tonight. The first platform is going to be with the school board candidates here at Flagler County. Tonight we're at the FCAR building, Flagler County Association of Realtors. It is sponsored by the Flagler County Chamber of Commerce, the Flagler County Home Builders Association, and also the, who did I miss? Oh, and Advent Health from the Chamber of Commerce. Great, thank you. I said FCAR. I said Flagler County Association of Realtors, Laura Z. Anyway, thank you very much. What a great audience. We are going to encourage everybody to applaud. If your candidate says the right thing, applaud. Do not boo if somebody says the wrong thing. That's just not cool. But do applaud if they say the right thing. We do like that. So without further ado, we are going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance by Laura Z from Beach 92.7. Please stand.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Thank you very much, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to introduce and hand the microphone over to John Phillips with the Palm Coast Flagler Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Laura. A couple of quick announcements before we get busy here, and I do want to talk about voting in general. Katie Lenhart shared some things with me to share with you, and so I want to take a minute or two to do that. So a couple things. All voters, regardless of party affiliation, are eligible to vote in nonpartisan contests. The school board races in the city of Palm Coast are two examples of nonpartisan races. The Flagler School Board election is county-wide. No matter where you live in the county, you get to vote for all 3 school board districts, and all 7 candidates for the board were invited to be here tonight, and there they are. Similarly, in the city of Palm Coast, it is a nonpartisan election. All registered voters who live in the city of Palm Coast are eligible to vote in both the District 2 and District 4 races, and all 7 candidates in those races were invited to be here as well. Just a couple of quick facts. In 2024, turnout in the primary was only 29.2%. 27,459 ballots were cast out of 93,000 registered voters. For NPA voters, the numbers were even worse. Only 14.3% of NPA voters voted in the primary in 2024. So again, nonpartisan races are open to all registered voters. We had 83% turnout for the 2024 general election. A couple of other facts. The primary election is on August 18th. I think everybody who is here tonight probably is aware of that. School board, as an example, 2 of the 3 races only have 2 candidates, so the primary will be the only election for those 2 races. And if someone in the race that has 3 candidates gets 50% plus 1, it will be decided then as well. So the August 18th primary is very, very important. You guys probably all know that because you've taken time to be with us tonight, so thank you for doing that. Turn the page here. July 20th is the deadline to register to vote. If you have not done that yet, it's coming up in about 3 weeks. You can change your party affiliation, or you can register to vote using Florida's online voter system. You can also go to flaglerelections.gov. There are 3 ways to vote in Florida. Again, flaglerelections.gov to register or change party, or register to get a vote by mail ballot. 3 ways to vote, again, at your assigned precinct on election day. That one's kind of self-explanatory. And then through the mail or through the early voting locations as well. So again, election day for the primary is August 18th. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on election day. So those are the notes that I wanted to share with you. We are right on schedule here, actually a couple minutes early. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to my colleagues here, and we're going to jump into the questions. Thank you again for being here tonight.
All right, Eddie. We're going to start off by having you quickly introduce yourselves, just your name and what district you're running for.
I'm Kathy Moon, District 1 School Board.
Jill Woolbright, District 1 School Board.
Will Furry, District 2 School Board.
Rob Wood, District 2 School Board.
Christy Chong, School Board District 4.
Ron Long, School Board District 4.
Trevor Tucker, School Board District 4.
All right, they all held the mic properly, so it's perfect. Let's get started. All right, so my name is Eddie Lang. I'm Vice President of Flagler County Association of Realtors and our Public Policy Chair here. Kathy Moon, this question's for you. Oh, it's 90, yeah, I'm sorry, I whipped to the questions. All right, so Kathy, you got 90 seconds, and then we'll go down the line.
All right, thank you. My husband and I chose to make Flagler County our home because family matters more than anything. We gave up on our dream of retiring internationally so that we could be here to watch our granddaughter grow up, and that's priceless. That same commitment to family is exactly why I'm running for school board. I bring real qualifications to the race. I hold a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in business administration. I've managed multi-million-dollar budgets at a federal level, and I led a team that saved the federal government $475 million without laying anyone off and without any cuts to service. I know how to lead, I know how to manage money responsibly, and I know how to deliver results. Those are exactly the skills the Flagler County students and taxpayers deserve on their school board. Every child in Flagler deserves a real path to success. Every family deserves school options and that deliver real results, and every taxpayer needs to know exactly how their dollars are being spent. As your school board member, I'll fight for students' success at every grade level, demand transparency and accountability from every school receiving public dollars, and ensure that every budget decision puts classrooms first. I'm not a career politician. This is my first time seeking office, but I'm a retired grandmother with the experience, the skills, and the passion to make Flagler schools the best they can be. I'm Kathy Moon, and I'm asking for your vote on August the 18th.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Jill Woolbright, and I've called Flagler County home since 1989. This community is where I raised my 3 children. They attended our public schools from kindergarten and graduated from high school. So I have experience in our schools, not only as a teacher and a former school board member, but also as a parent. For 28 years, I taught here in Flagler County classrooms. Over the years, I was recognized by the state of Florida as a high-impact teacher. And in 2016, I was honored to be named Florida's #1 6th grade math teacher. I also had the privilege of serving as your District 1 school board member. But titles are not what matter most to me. For most of my life, I've viewed Flagler County from 3 seats: the parent seat, the teacher's desk, and the school board member's chair. Those experiences give me a perspective that no other candidate can offer. I've spent my life investing in our children. I've taught generations of Flagler families, including the children of former children. Today, some of those former students work in our school district. I served as a guardian ad litem. I've been an active member of the Kiwanis Club, and I continue teaching children wherever I could, even in Hungary and West Africa, Togo. As your school board member, I will listen to parents, support teachers, value our business community as an essential partner in preparing tomorrow's workforce, and be responsible for steward of every taxpayer dollar. Experience matters, relationships matter, and putting students first always matters. I would be honored to earn your vote on August 18th for Flagler School Board District 1, and thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It has been an honor to serve you as your District 2 school board member and two-time chair of the Flagler County Board of Education. Back in '22, I was elected with the endorsement of Governor Ron DeSantis, but I was most humbled by the endorsement of the Flagler electorate that elected me with 60% of the vote. But that vote came with a mandate to bring transformative change to Flagler schools. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, promises made, promises kept. Under my leadership, we have delivered top-down leadership change, fiscal responsibility, safer schools, and because of the hard work and determination of our students and staff, we've had year-over-year academic gains, and I'm proud to tell you tonight that Flagler Schools has once again returned to an A school district. Now, I'm very proud of what we've accomplished, and I'm ready to keep going. We have term limits now, so I'm asking you to elect me to a second and final term, so we can keep building off the successes that we did, that I just mentioned, keep putting kids first, and getting to yes for Flagler families. On August 18th, please vote Will Furry for Flagler County School Board District 2. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having us tonight. My name's Rob Wood, and I'm the candidate for Flagler County School Board District 2. I'm a lifelong conservative, and I'm proud to have earned the endorsement of Flagler County Sheriff's Deputies Union. My commitment to education didn't begin with this school board run. It began in 2001, and I've spent a career since in leadership, organizational development, and senior leadership in education. My wife and I have lived in Flagler for 16 years. We've raised 2 kids here that both graduated from Flagler County schools, and my wife, Stacy, taught right here in Old Kings. I spent 11 years in the active duty Air Force and the last decade in higher education, supporting the leaders who serve more than 17,000 students. I come to this role as a parent, an educator's husband, a senior leader in education, and a local business owner focused on the prosperity of our county. So everything I'm running for comes down to one question, and that's what's best for our students. And there are 4 things that are really important to me. First, I think we need to have a school board that leads by example and represents us well. 2, real fiscal responsibility. A budget is a commitment and not a rough draft. I've spent a career balancing budgets and holding people to them. 3rd, real support for the educators that we already have. We need to retain our teachers. We should be empowering them, letting them flourish, getting out of their way. And when our grades go up, that credit belongs to the people that earned it, the teachers, staff, and the kids. And number 4, education is a great equalizer. It starts in VPK and ends with every Flagler graduate ready for what comes next, whether it's the trade, military, or a career right here at home. I'm Rob Wood, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Chong. I'm your current school board chair for Flagler County, proud mom of 3 Flagler students, and family nurse practitioner. It has been my honor to serve you for the last 4 years on the Flagler County School Board, and together we've made real progress, but we are not done yet. Today, I am excited to share some great news that based on our current projections, we are on track to solidly earn an A district for Flagler County. This A rating is a powerful boost for our entire county. It means stronger opportunities for our children, greater pride in our community, and a brighter future for Flagler. Our graduation rate is 90% and still rising, with students better prepared than ever for success after graduation. And with our Diploma Plus program, students graduate with career-focused training, industry certifications, and real skills that prepare them for the future. We've made our schools safer with full school resource officer coverage and strong discipline policies, and we're not stopping there. We're taking more measures to make our schools even safer. We turned a deficit into a strong reserve of over $11 million, responsible stewardship of your tax dollars. I've worked to support working families, expand access to student meals, and make sure that no child is left behind. I put families first, bringing transparency back into the classroom and focusing on core academics, excellence, and character. Exactly what Florida families expect and deserve. I'm running for re-election because the work isn't finished. With your support, we'll keep raising the standard, supporting our teachers and staff, empowering families, and making sure that every child in Flagler County has the very best opportunity to succeed. I'm grateful to have been on this journey these past few years, and I look forward to continuing to serve our county. I am a mother, a healthcare provider that serves this county and actively serves on our school board, a taxpayer, a productive member of this community. I have refused to stand by when there is a gap to fill. I've stepped up to stand in that gap for our children, for our schools, and for Flagler County. I'm proud of the work that's been done, and I want to continue to see it through, so I humbly ask for your vote on Election Day.
Good evening, and thank you to everyone who helped organize this event. My name is Ron Long. I'm a Florida native. I'm a construction worker by trade. My wife, Rebecca, and I have proudly called Flagler County our home for nearly 25 years. We've raised 3 children here, all graduates of the public school system. For most of my life, I wasn't involved in politics. I've been on the job site where I learned how to manage budgets, accountability, and also I learned what happens when leadership starts to lose sight of the people doing the hard work. After a career-ending injury in 2023, I finally had the opportunity to start spending time at city council meetings, school board meetings, citizens academies, and I even serve on a couple of local boards. The more I got involved, the more concerned I became with the direction of the school district. My campaign has a simple message: this ballot is about the budget. Over the past 10 years, the district has grown from around 190 million to nearly 350 million, while our student enrollment has remained relatively stagnant. In fact, last year we even lost students. Meanwhile, teachers are still not seeing an increase in pay. We still have parents that are asking for stronger schools and stronger resources in the classroom, and taxpayers still deserve the confidence that every dollar is being spent wisely. I'm not running simply to spend less. I'm running to spend smart, to put our focus back where it belongs, supporting teachers, protecting students, and strengthening classrooms. I'm Ron Long, and I would be honored to have your vote for Flagler County District 4.
Good evening. My name's Trevor Tucker. I'm running for School Board District 4 along with my opponents. I'm a lucky individual because I was born and raised here. I attended high school at Flagler Palm Coast, and my family has a lot of roots in this community. That makes it very important for me to have a quality school district. My son is currently at the high school, and I have a 4-year-old, and I know all of you are looking at me going, he probably shouldn't have a 4-year-old. Look, he looks old. I get that, but I do. So that child will be entering the school district soon. My daughter graduated from Flagler Palm Coast, and she went through the IB program, which is a wonderful program that helped her get a scholarship to college. My aunt, who's in the audience, you should raise your hand. I like to recognize her. She was an educator here for a long time, and her husband, you should say thank you, Buddy Taylor, the school is named after. Give her a round of applause. I'm a business owner here in the county. I've been a business owner for over 20 years, and that business background has helped me understand what the educational system needs, also the budgets. I was on the school board for 12 years. During that time on the school boards, we had a lot of great accomplishments. We introduced the Fire Academy in case you weren't going to a higher academic standard. Now you have a trade that you can come out and graduate with a career. We also introduced the ACE program at Matanzas High School because we had the IB program at FPC. ACE is a high academic program that will take your child to get an academic scholarship if they complete it anywhere in the state of Florida. Well, I got the times up, so thank you for listening to me for a few moments, and have a good evening.
Thank you. All right, so just a reminder, you have 60 seconds to respond to the questions. Kathy Moon, Flagler County continues to grow. What should the school board prioritize to ensure schools can accommodate future growth while maintaining educational quality?
If we look over the last several years, someone mentioned here recently that the school population has not increased, even though our population as a county has somewhat exploded. That's due to a number of reasons. Some of the parents have shifted their children into private school or into homeschool. Also, families are simply having less children, and we still have a lot of retirees who are moving here. So I don't think we'll be in a position where we have to build a school anytime soon. And if we did see a sudden influx of students, then we have the ability to expand quickly, accommodate them quickly using the temporary classrooms that we could bring in. And and if we see a dramatic decrease in the students, we can respond to that as well. We would hire less staff. We would, and we have to make sure that we do maintain the buildings that we have and we keep those in top-notch condition for our students so they have a great environment every day.
This question is for Jill Woolbright. What do you believe is the biggest challenge facing student achievement in Flagler County, and what specific actions would you support as a school board member to address it?
Thank you for that question. One of the biggest challenges that's not talked about often, but is teacher recruitment and retention. It took many years to become a master teacher. You don't become a master teacher in just a few years. And unfortunately, there's a trend of teachers coming out of college and then leaving the field within 5 years. They used to call us teachers at Wadsworth Elementary the dinosaurs because we had so much longevity. And they don't call anyone at any school the dinosaurs anymore because longevity is a thing of the past. Even this last school year, there were a lot of retirements. So we need to get the teachers in the field and keep them. And I think one way we could do is I believe that we need to have some kind of incentive, like after 5 years, to get them to stay, give them a bonus or a stipend, and then again at 10 years, or just budget the teacher's pay first and then everything else later.
This question is for Will Furry. Teacher morale and retention affect every classroom. What is one thing the board can actually control that would make Flagler schools a better place to work?
Yeah, this is a great question. And actually, this is a problem that we solved back after 22 when we made a leadership change at Flagler Schools when we appointed the now superintendent, LaShaka Moore. It's a matter of culture. I believe there are two types of leaders in any organization. You have positional and you have persuasive. We have a persuasive leader right now, somebody who inspires those to do their best for them and for their and perform the best they can do in their job. So continuing on with the work environment is the best thing. Professional learning, making sure that our teachers are constantly updated with the latest resources and tools, and also the safety and security of our educators. We need to make sure they feel safe every day at school by enforcing our progressive discipline policy and making sure that there is an environment where all kids can learn.
This question is for Rob Wood. How can Flagler schools better prepare students for success after graduation, whether they choose college, technical training, military service, or entering the workforce?
Thanks for that question. So I think setting them up for success for college and after actually starts with VPK programs. If we can invest in VPK programs and we can increase their literacy rate in third grade, we can have a profound impact on their ability to leave the school system and be productive, whether they have a high school diploma and they go for a career that's right here at home, if they attend a technical school or get some technical skills in our school system or in one of our partnering schools like Daytona State College, things like that. We should be preparing them for every walk of life and not just to progress through college. I'm the product of a home where neither parent got out of 6th grade, and I was the first in a generation to go to college. When I say education is the great equalizer, I am the example of you can set the stage and you can set the course of the future for every student that we have here, regardless of the path that they choose.
Christy Chong, how would you improve support for students with 504 plans and IEPs without burying teachers in paperwork?
Tough question. We've got to make sure that we're giving them the resources needed. We need to advocate for these things and get more funding from the state. Absolutely. Going to our legislatures and asking for that funding so that we can provide these services. I'm really proud of the work that's been done, and I think that I had a child with an IEP, and he did well, and it was a good experience, but I know that's not the case for everybody, so there's always improvements to be made. Thanks.
This next question is for Ron Long. What are the biggest challenges facing Flagler schools right now? And what strategies would you implement to help improve that area?
I think one of the largest strategies they're seeing right now is a lot of parents are choosing other options other than the public school system. You have homeschool and the private school sector. From what I've heard in my gathering of petitions, a lot of parents were telling me, now, of course, some were worried about curriculum, and the biggest thing I always heard was safety and bullying. And I think if we can fix some of those problems by, again, like I said, I'm all about the budget in this issue. But we've got money that I think is being spent in areas that can be placed in a better bucket to be able to help provide better resource officers, to be able to give the needs for the teachers, to be able to have a child that can be put in a place where they are able to address what's needed without the entire classroom being disrupted. These are things that parents, they see this and it's not an option they want for their child. They want their child to have just a good, solid, regular education, reading, writing, and arithmetic. If we get too deep into the woods with dealing with all of these individual, thank you.
Trevor Tucker, this question's for you. Teacher morale and retention affect every classroom. What is the one thing the board can actually control that would make Flagler schools a better place to work?
Sure. The most important thing that the school board can do is we control the money. So if a teacher has the support they need in the classroom by having the correct supplies, the correct materials, the correct curriculum, then they can perform their job very well. That is the one thing the board that can actually do. Outside of that, we can go cheer them on, but we're not in the classrooms and we're not supposed to be in the classrooms. So budget. Make sure they have the tools they need in order to perform. Thank you.
You'll have to pass the mic. This question is for Jill. Again, sorry, I'm following a script. Jill Woolbright. Do you all have your own mic? I thought you were passing them. Okay. What is your position on school choice, charter schools, and traditional public schools competing for students? How should the district respond when families leave?
Thank you for that question. I am pro-choice. I believe that parents are the first educators of their children, and they know their children best. And if they so choose to leave the school system and go, I'm pro the voucher money following them. The school system has an opportunity, however, to compete, and that's what built our country, competition. So if we compete, we need to find out why our parents are choosing homeschooling and why they're choosing private school, for one. For two, we need to make sure that we're on our game, and we need to provide programs and things that they can't in smaller venues. A lot of our children come back to public schools during the high school, and we shouldn't make those parents to be like they're doing the wrong thing to take the vouchers like some school board members do. We need to embrace them and find out why they leave to get them back, and generally they come back at the high school level. So, thank you, I have the stop sign. I'm telling you guys, this is so funny. She's had like 3 different methods with the stop sign, and we all still keep talking.
This next question is for Kathy Moon. If budget cuts become necessary, what should be protected first? Personnel, student services, transportation, school safety, arts, athletics, or administrative roles?
Wow. Okay, the way I have been trained and have been successful when there's a budget crisis is not to eliminate anything. We drive down costs through increasing operational efficiency. First thing we do is we freeze hiring, unless we're in like the cycle right now where you have to get the teachers in place for the fall semester. But if there were other positions, and the school bus drivers too, but you freeze the other hiring and you take a hard look at those positions to see if they're in fact really needed. If you must make immediate cuts, then you often are able to make a small percentage cut across departments, and they can often absorb that without too much impact on the students. We have to preserve the classroom. We have to have our teachers in place. We have to provide the curriculum for the students. So that's the single most important place to protect. But I wouldn't cut a specific area. I would look to maximize the operational efficiency of everything and look for not fraud or abuse, but things where there's opportunities to reduce that without making significant cuts to the programs. Thank you.
This question is for Rob Wood. What are the biggest challenges facing Flagler schools right now, and what strategies would you implement to help improve in that area?
It's a great question. I already heard it once, so I wasn't ready for that one. I think some of the biggest challenges is we are reactionary. I feel like we don't spend enough time being strategic in our thought when it comes to being fiscally responsible and preparing for what comes next. So it's like the voucher system and school choice just happened to us, and students just stop coming to our schools. There are proactive things that we can do to promote our programs, promote our VPK programs, and bring students into our schools early. Budgets, things like that. We have, if this homestead tax goes in, we have this sigh of relief that the schools are being untouched, but that's not the case because 60% of our SRO budget comes from the county and from the city. But that's not currently in our budget to take care of that as a school. So how are we going to pay for that as a school system when they decide not to pay that anymore because their budgets are being taxed, are being taken away by the state?
This question is for Will Furry. How will you work with board members that you disagree with without letting routine decisions turn into dysfunction?
Yes, that's something that went away in recent years. The school board has been known for being a bit vibrant, but the reality is we do not have dysfunction. What we have is dissent, and dissent is a good thing. A board is made up of 5 different members, in our case, that come from different backgrounds, diversity of thought, but have one common goal. So that is what makes a board work. You don't want everybody that just is in there to just go along to get along. You need to be able to stand for what you told your constituents when you were elected and stick to your guns when it comes to that. Now, I would say that off the dais, we all get along, but there are times when we disagree on certain policy decisions. And I can tell you right now that whatever I promised you is the way I will vote every single time.
This next question is for Ron Long. What do you see as the board's most important responsibilities regarding campus safety, student well-being, and emergency preparedness?
I think part of that comes back to, like I was mentioning earlier, when it comes to our resource officers. I know there's talk of the Guardian program. It's not a program that I'm totally against, but it's something that I think needs some more attention. And in my opinion, when it comes to those types of situations, if we can factor the budget to come up with the money to actually pay for more resource officers, then ideally that would be the best thing, as many resources officers as we can get. That's going to take care of a lot of the safety issues that we are looking at. I can't see anything more that would really address it.
Trevor Tucker. How would you improve support for students with 504 plans and IEPs without burying teachers in paperwork?
Well, that's a federal program, so no matter what, you're going to have that paperwork. So you're going to need the administrators to help out with the teachers. And as long as the administrators are helping out the teachers, then they can take off some of that load that the teachers have to perform for that paperwork. But in order for the school district to be reimbursed, they have a lot of paperwork to do for 504 and IE plans. Ideally, it would be great if you could provide every service for every child, but this is a program of the federal government, and so you can't always provide everything. With that, if you have administrators to help out, that's part of their jobs and duties, and they should be able to give more tools to the classroom. It would be great if somehow there was a computer program that would streamline this stuff, but as far as I know, there isn't. So if anyone's a coder out there, think about it.
This question is for Christy Chong. What would you do to make Flagler Schools a district where educators want to work and stay?
Well, definitely salary is important, and that's definitely my heart. I would love to see our teachers paid better. What a lot of people don't realize is that that's not always our decision. That also comes from the state. We have a very limited budget, but I would like to see that improve. Culture is also very important. I'm really proud of our superintendent and the leadership that we have. I think she's created a great culture and a place that people want to be. I know that we don't have many openings for teacher positions right now. You know, I love our schools and the atmosphere that we have, so thank you.
This will be our last set of questions. This next question is for Kathy Moon. What are the biggest challenges facing Flagler schools right now, and what strategies would you implement to help improve that area?
Thank you for that question. To me, a statistic that broke my grandmother's heart was learning that only 37% of our students arrived at kindergarten last year ready for kindergarten. You might think that's not a big deal. What can that possibly mean? It is a big deal. The Flagler Schools data tells us that 75% of those children will never catch up, never. And that's unacceptable. So we need to have programs to get more of the kids into the voluntary free kindergarten program to make sure that more of them are ready for kindergarten when they arrive. In speaking with parents, I've found that one of the greatest barriers to more kids attending is the lack of free transportation. There's no bus for those children. So I would like to approach perhaps the Education Foundation to see if we could have a grant to test in one school providing transportation for VPK. Would that increase our enrollment? Would we be able to show increased programs? And hats off to the school district who is putting certified teachers in the VPK program this coming year in 3 of our schools. That's a big deal, and I hope that will make a huge difference. But I feel like those kids are the ones to focus on. If we can get them there, we don't spend 12 years trying to help them catch up. If we can get them into the programs and have them ready. Thank you.
Jill Walbright. How will you work with board members that you disagree with without letting routine decisions turn into dysfunction?
Thank you for that question. As school board members, we represent our constituents. So the first thing is to know how our constituents think and what we promised and what they wanted, the reasons they voted us for. Secondly, majority of the school board decisions, I'd say 99% of them are routine decisions, or not that many are routine, but most of them are routine, and most of the school boards vote unanimously yes on the decisions. A lot of them are consent items. If there's a item of disagreement, you have to collaborate, listen to both sides, and then there has to be some give and take. Not one school board member is not going to get every decision to go their way. So you have to give and take and listen, and sometimes it's just a matter of agreeing to disagree, but agreeing with someone else so that we can move along in the agenda and move along with something that's maybe a little more important that might have something more to do with deeper issues.
Will Furry, what is your position on school choice, charter schools, and traditional public schools competing for students? How should the district respond when families leave?
Well, First, I want to just make it clear that Flagler Schools is not seeing the mass exodus like other districts, like Orange County, that's losing thousands of kids. We, since vouchers have been around, have only lost about, or parents have chosen other options for the children of about 300. That's still a significant hit to our budget, but it's not a crisis. I am an advocate for school choice because I think that's the most equitable option out there for families. No longer does a zip code determine the quality of your education. The one-size-fits-all is dead. Now parents, if they feel they can find a better place to educate their children, they can take those dollars with them. The dollars don't follow the system anymore, they follow the student. And this is actually an opportunity as we are pioneers in the new frontier of education, and this will show us where areas that we need to improve or excel on, or different services that we need to offer. So I will strive to be the best choice for families in Flagler schools.
Rob Wood, teacher morale and retention affect every classroom. What is one thing the board can actually control that would make Flagler schools a better place to work?
Well, the school board has pretty distinct role, right? We hire a superintendent, we help set a budget, we set policy, we hold the superintendent accountable. But the other thing that we do is we lead by example, and we establish the culture for the organization from the top down. So every time you're on the dais, every time you're speaking, you're representing that school, and you should be representing the best of what this community has to offer. And when you disagree, you should be coming from a relationships first agenda, meaning that relationship gets preserved over the outcome. You should drive for commitment over compliance. We don't want to do things because we have to do it or because a policy said so. We want to do it because it's the right thing to do and we're working together. And third, we need to make sure that we're operating in a way where we're doing no harm. We're leaving people better off than the way that we found them. If we can establish a positive culture from the top down and hold the superintendent accountable, that culture will radiate throughout the organization.
Trevor Tucker, what are the biggest challenges facing Flagler schools right now, and what strategies would you implement to help improve in that area?
So one of the things I think that Flagler Schools needs to really work on is superintendent retention. Every time you change superintendents, and I'd say in the last 16 years, I feel like we've had 5, that changes the leadership in the district. So you don't have the same programs that the superintendent implemented to continue. So part of my goal would be to keep a superintendent for more than 3 or 4 years. That way they can get their programs through to fruition. That's probably one of my largest goals. And that's probably, if history repeats itself, we won't have a superintendent very long. But hopefully we can retain that superintendent for longer. Whether it's myself or anybody else on this board, please try to keep that superintendent.
Christy Chong, if budget cuts become necessary, what should be protected first? Classroom positions, student services, transportation, school safety, arts athletic, or administrative roles?
So the important thing is not about cutting programs, but making sure we don't have any waste. And I like to think that we don't right now. Our budget is great, but school safety is important, and also making sure we preserve the student services and education. Another thing with school safety, we have school resource officers now, but I am a supporter of the Guardian program. That I've had an opportunity to learn all about that behind the scenes, because we do that in executive session. That's a slow roll-in, so it's not things that you just have people with guns. It's very controlled, and we would work with our sheriff's office to do that. But the important thing is that making sure we're not just cutting things, but that we don't have any waste. Thank you.
Ron, what responsibility does the school board have to ensure taxpayers see measurable results from the funding invested in our schools?
Well, just about every responsibility.
as a school board, you're in charge of making sure this budget's going where it needs to be, making sure the money is there that's needed. And this may mean fighting really hard against Tallahassee, going up there every opportunity you have, pushing back on bad policy that doesn't actually benefit Flagler County students. And whenever it comes to spending each dollar, line item this. Let's go through every penny of it. I hate to beat a dead horse, but there's the white fleet. I think that needs some attention. We're seeing a little bit of a bulge in some administrative positions. That may need some attention. Again, I'm not saying cut and slash and start letting people go left and right, but let's fine tune this so that every dollar is being spent exactly the way it should, that best benefits every child and, of course, every teacher that's there to help them.
We'll now move into closing statements. These will be 30 seconds, and Kathy, we'll start with you, and we'll work our way down.
Thank you. In closing, I want to share something I see as important. Every current member of our school board runs a business or has a job. I respect that they're willing to do that in combination with their current responsibilities, but it means that our schools are competing for their attention every single day. Some have missed PTO or SAC meetings. Some skip the trip to Tallahassee for legislative days, where school board members should be standing in front of our legislators and fighting for the funding that we need for all the programs we've talked about here tonight. Some have missed Florida School Board trainings that were designed to help them be more effective leaders for our students, and our students deserve better. I'm retired, so I'm available. Thank you.
So thank you for being here tonight and for caring about the future of our schools. As you make your decision tonight, I ask you to consider who has the experience, the proven record, the lifelong commitment to serve our students, support our teachers, respect parents, partner with the business community, and be a responsible steward of your tax dollars. I would be honored to earn your vote on August 18th for Flagler County School Board. For more information, go to jillforkids.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have worked hard to deliver on all my promises to Flagler County. Since I was elected, we've made schools safer, we've restored fiscal responsibility, and returned to an A school district. We have been winning on all fronts, and we have a recipe for success. I've always believed that every decision I make must answer one simple question: is this best for our children, for our students? That's the approach I've always taken every day, and that's the approach I'll continue to take. So on August 18th, vote Will Furry for Flagler County School Board District 2, and remember that will is the way to keep Flagler schools an A. Thank you.
Wow. Check, check. So this school board run is not new for me. It's something I've been planning on for quite a long time, and I am uniquely placed for this role. I spent years in the military as a trainer in executing our mission. I've taught GED in a maximum security prison, spent 10 years as a federal contractor in leadership and organizational development, executive training, and coaching. The last 10 years as a senior leader in higher education. I've rearranged my priorities for this, and this is the job I want. This is not a stepping stone to another role. This isn't a soft landing for a failed campaign. This is the job I want and that I'm uniquely qualified for. I'm not just asking for your vote. I'm asking you to fire the incumbent and vote for me August 18th.
So when I decided to run again, I looked at my youngest son and I thought, remember your why I got in this fight in the first place. To be there for his future and all of our children's future and for families. You know, we post things on social media, we attend all these events and we're there to be seen, but what you don't see is the private conversations with families, the text messages. When I say to a parent, let me just call you, let's figure this out together. The relationships that we've built over the years. Over the years, my family, we've been able to build relationships in this community, and they're able to say, hey, I know Christy, I can reach out to her. And I'm glad that I get the chance to do that. I'm grateful to be a voice in our community, and I hope I can continue to be that voice for children, for parents, for teachers and staff. So let's continue to prepare our children for bright futures together. Thank you.
Tonight, you've heard a lot of different perspectives about the future of our schools, and I believe this election comes down to a simple question. Who will ask the hard questions, who will protect taxpayer dollars, and keep students and teachers at the center of every decision that they make. I bring a lifetime of real-world budgeting, accountability, and problem-solving, not politics. I have the time, I have the work ethic, and I have the commitment to serve this community every day. This ballot is about making sure every dollar supports the students, teachers, and the classroom first. I'm Ron Long, and I am genuinely asking for your vote for Flagler County District 4. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming this evening. My name's Trevor Tucker. I'm running for School Board District 4. Everyone drive home safe. If you have a little bit of time, I'd love to spend some time and talk to you. With that, I think have a good evening. I'm not very long-winded. If you have any questions, please see me afterwards. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, candidates. If you guys will exit that way, we're going to bring up the next candidates. Let's give all these candidates a big round of applause for a great job. As far as I'm concerned, it takes a lot of bravery to run for office because it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy at all. So the next candidates, if we can get you up here as quickly as possible, we're going to take a 3-minute commercial break on WNZF, the WNZF YouTube page and Facebook page. And then we'll come back with more candidate forum tonight from FCAR.
Seconds for candidate introductions, 60 seconds to answer a question, 30 seconds for your wrap-up. There's a sign in the front. When you got 15 seconds left, they'll wave at you a little bit. When you're out of time, it says stop, okay? We did a great job in that first one. We actually ended early, and nobody will complain about ending early. So thank you for your hospitality in the first segment, and thank you to the candidates for providing short, concise answers tonight. So we appreciate everybody participating. Again, 90 for the intros, 60 for the questions, 30 for the closing remarks. We will flow through this, and we're going to lead it off for the first round for candidate introductions. We will go right across the table. So we'll start with Greg Feldman. You are on the clock, sir, for 90 seconds.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Feldman. I'm running for Flagler County Commission, District 2. I was born and raised in Chicago, worked in Oklahoma for 5 years, came back to Illinois for a while, and one night when I was working in my law enforcement career, my side of my face froze over from the snow, and I went in and quit the next day and moved to Florida. I was in South Florida for almost 40 years. I've been in law enforcement for in excess of 45 years. I moved up here permanently in 2013 after having bought property and having a home here since 2005. Currently, I'm the chair of the Transportation Planning Organization's Community Advisory Council. I'm active with the Tiger Bay Club, with the Republican Executive Committee, Northeast Crime Stoppers, and some other things as well. I'm doing this for one reason and one reason only, because I want to make our community where we live just a little bit better during the course of my term. I want people to think of it that way and say that, yes, he was on our side. I pay taxes like y'all do. I spend money like everybody does here. I just want our community to be a little bit better than it was in the past. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Pontieri. I am a candidate for Flagler County Commission District 2. I'm an attorney by trade. I practice business litigation and family law. I am the mom to a beautiful 2-year-old boy whom everybody lovingly calls Vice Mayor Baby, and I love that. I'm currently on City Council. I have been on City Council for the City of Palm Coast for 4 years, and I've been Vice Mayor for the last 2 years. I'm the wife to a lieutenant in the fire service, daughter, granddaughter, and sister to current service members and veterans. I was proudly born on the Air Force Base in Mountain Home, Idaho, so much colder place than we're here right now. Yes, thank you. I know we have an Air Force fellow, yes. I was told when I was growing up, I was on the United States karate team. I had the absolute honor and pleasure of representing the United States all over the world as a fighter. And when I was competing and training, I was told by my karate instructor at 18 or 19 years old that if I want to succeed and I never want to be able to complain about anybody ever taking anything from me, that I needed to work 10 times harder than everybody else. Be 10 times better, work 10 times harder, and that way you never have any fear of anybody ever taking anything from you. And I have carried that principle in literally every single thing that I've done in my life. I've worked really hard in the current job that I have. I can hit the ground running. The county has a lot of issues that we need to tackle head on, and I can hit the ground running. I've developed relationships at the local level and the state level, and I know how to get the job done. So I ask for your vote on August 18th for Flagler County Commission, District 2.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raymond Royer. I'm a veteran, Navy veteran from 82 to 1986. I also did different trades in between until I got on the fire department for Allentown, Pennsylvania, my hometown, which Allentown was rated All-American City in the 70s. I graduated from high school, and when I went into the Navy, the reason I picked the Navy at that time in 1982, if everybody remembers, interest rates were at 18%. Unemployment was 14%. And I thought I was going to work for Mack Trucks or Bethlehem Steel. I said to my dad, I'm going to join the service. So after like that, I said, I joined it. So my accomplishments in the Navy, I learned dedication, and I accomplished every task. I even became a Navy SAR swimmer, which is a tough program to defeat. In trades, I always dedicate my skills and learned more skills, and I learned from the old guys on the job sites. and showed me the different tricks to make the job easier. Being on the fire department, I learned how to be a dedicated fireman and do teamwork again. And from that, I will dedicate my time to use because I am retired. I don't have a second job. And I will go up to Tallahassee at times and lobby. I'm not going to send lobbyists up there. I think we should be sending our people up there, and I'll represent our city, our county efficiently. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Denise Calderwood, and I'm proud of Denise Woody Calderwood. My former name was Sterniello, which I had for 19 years in Flagler County, and do the research. I'm an open book. According to Flagler Live, I'm a gadfly. I've gone to county commission meetings since I was 9 years old, advocating to keep Otis Hunter, our first school resource officer. Thank you for the families, the founding families of Flagler, including the Tuckers. I am running again, and yes, I was a late candidate, so I'm a write-in candidate for those of you who are wondering where I am. I still reside here, but I reside anywhere in Flagler County, and I will go anywhere wherever the need is. My phone is open 24 hours a day, and I keep getting called. And it's 386-225-3053, and yes, I'm giving it out on the internet because I keep getting called because our social services in Flagler County sucks, and it currently does, and it's even worse now. And I will call everybody out, and that's why I'm running. You'll see me. I'll be around. I'll be walking. I help the homeless. I've cleared the area up. In 2000, I was the Police Athletic League Volunteer of the Year for the United States. One of two people, me and a man. And so, I'm proud to say my law enforcement career, Flagler Beach paid for me to go to the police academy. I was an 18-year-old, started the Police Explorer program, and I was the first high school dropout in Flagler County who dropped into college and started the dual enrollment program. So thank you.
Hey guys, good evening. My name is Andrew Moss. Thanks everybody for coming out here today. I am running for Flagler County Commission District 4. I'm running to make Flagler the best county around. I'm really looking at fiscal responsibility, responsible, intelligent growth, reasonable, limited taxation. I think we're spending a little bit too much money, a little bit on me. I moved down here in 2001 after I got out of the Army and decided I wanted to raise my family here because we had been coming down on vacation to visit my grandparents since 1979. So that's a little bit about me. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Make sure this is on. I would stand up, but I think I would fall off, so. I'm Leanne Pennington. I currently represent District 4 for the County Commission. That is our west, out west, all our beautiful farms. I am a lifelong Republican. I am a native Floridian. I'm a proud mom of a 20-year-old who I raised here. I had a beautiful marriage. Unfortunately, my husband passed unexpectedly last year, as most of you might know. I've been in the banking industry for over 30 years, which is kind of telling my age. I started doing due diligence for Goldman Sachs. I was a chief internal investigator for JP Morgan for nearly a decade, handling their highest priority Department of Justice cases. And I've worked the past decade for a banking firm out of Canada as a chief strategist for financial crimes. So I've been very successful, and I'm proud to be able to be successful and call Flagler County home. I'd just like to say that, I've been able to parlay that onto our county commission board. The last 4 years have been very successful for us. We've advocated and received a lot of state funding for projects like Bull Creek, for our special needs shelter, which will be a 16,000 square foot shelter out at our 4-H area, 4-H barns. We're going to have new 4-H barns, as well as critical infrastructure needs, including new fire stations and new fire stations, and as well as a helicopter for our fire and rescue. So we've advocated for a lot. We've been able to do a lot for our growing community. We're very proud of ourselves. Thank you.
This first question will be for Greg Feldman. As a county commissioner, how would you balance maintaining essential services with keeping taxes and government spending under control?
It's a great question because we're not 100% sure what's going to happen. We've got a constitutional amendment out there, and if it passes, that's going to make for some drastic cuts for our services. But having said that, let's assume for just a minute, and I know that's a dangerous word, but let's assume that things stay approximately the same. We need to look at the budget, number one. Everybody says there's so much fat in there. I've read the budget. There isn't, but there's always places where we can do a little bit better. We can look at the numbers. We can see what we're providing. We can always do better than what we have. The next thing we have to do is we have to evaluate the services we're providing. Are we adequate here? Are we inadequate here? What do we need to do? We need to look at our infrastructure and see what we need to spend and what we need to contribute toward improving that. That's a big hot button with a lot of people. So we need to look at all those, see the money that's coming in, see where we're at, and move forward from there so that everybody's treated fairly. Thanks.
This question is for Teresa Pontieri. At a previous candidate forum, you spoke about creating a strategic action plan to attract more businesses to Flagler County. What specific industries or types of employers should Flagler County be recruiting, and what role should the County Commission play in that effort?
Yeah, this is really important to me. So economic development is something that I am really basing my entire platform on because I think economic development will solve so many of our problems. It'll solve so many of our infrastructure problems. It'll diversify our tax base. It'll bring in both active and passive dollars. And a lot of those dollars come from outside the county, which means they're not coming out of your pocket. So for me, economic development is incredibly important, and a strategic action plan to put something in place long-term is crucial. Specifically, I would say I like to use the term on brand for Flagler County. We need to bring an industry that's clean, that's environmentally sensitive, and that brings in higher paying jobs. So one of the things that I continue to think fits perfect with our community is anything in aerospace. We've got Cocoa right down the road. We know that there are high paying jobs, that it's a clean industry, and that it's an evolving industry. It'll elevate the quality of life in our community. And one of the things that we need to do to make sure we are helping that industry is creating a pipeline for our workforce. We have to start focusing on that. It's a long-term goal. It's going to take time and investment, but I think we can get there.
Raymond Royer, what role should the commission play in making housing affordable for working families and fixed income seniors?
Good question. I actually sit on the public side for affordable housing, so in those discussions, we have a problem here, as Teresa's mentioned. We don't have the incomes right now. We depend on retirees. An example is I might have to make a choice down the road a decade later when my wife decides to retire. Right now, I have a grateful pension from the fire department, but my wife will have a 401k plan. And I told her we're not going to be tapping into that to pay for the water bills and stuff like that. So I might have to make an adjustment and actually have to leave the area. And that's going with elderly people and everything in this community. We have an affordability issue, and we need to address it. And the county and Palm Coast City needs both to address it because Palm Coast really suffers the most. Thank you.
This next question is for Denise Calderwood. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Flagler County today, and what measurable result would you hope to achieve during your first term if elected?
If elected. Okay, that's a good one. Flagler County's got a lot of problems, but we also have a lot of solutions. I mean, I was a community organizer for the Flagler County Health Department. I worked there for 5 years, and, don't want to say this was my county, but I'm a proud product of Flagler County. I taught leadership classes through the Chamber of Commerce, and I think Jason DiLorenzo's wife looked that up, and it was the second class that I taught, the leadership classes, and attended the first orientation. I've been here. I'm proud to say I'm a product of FPC. When I was there, it was a Flagler prison camp, but we dropped out. The school systems are great. We have a fire department academy. Those are laughing. I do humorous stuff. 67% of our county is in crisis, okay? The biggest thing is we need a county administrator, and I support the long-term one, or a long-term county chairperson. Darby was great. He was our county chairperson for over 20 years. was a fantastic leader. He was also a realtor. So, I mean, I support FCAR. We have a lot of issues in Flagler, but we also have a lot of solutions thanks to all the people who've moved to our community.
That's time. This question is for Drew Moss. County commissioners are responsible for policy, legislative priorities, and budget funding decisions. What is one department, program, or recurring expense you believe deserves deeper scrutiny before the next budget is approved?
Thanks for the question. I don't think it's a single department that we really need to be looking at. I look at the county and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, the requirements that we take care of, but we're also doing, some people's pet projects. So if it's a pet project, we really have to look at that and make sure that it's reasonably being spent, the money. I think you should be looking at every single department when it comes to the county. Everybody could be cut a little bit, spending a little bit too much money. I think that you have to do some research, take a look at it so that your decisions are going to be data-driven. Sorry, I'm running out of time. And make the best decision for Flagler County.
Leanne Pennington. What are the county's most pressing infrastructure needs, and how would you prioritize investments in roads, utilities, broadband, and stormwater systems?
Yeah. I believe right now the county's most pressing infrastructure needs happens to be our road program. We are 130 miles of dirt roads that still need to be paved. They're $2 million a mile with design and paving, which we can't afford to get further behind on. And I believe that it's critical that we up our paving game because that's what's going to bring in the economic development that we need. A lot of the corridors where there's water is able to get to, it still remains unpaved. So that's going to be critical for us in that, and also flood mitigation. We have a lot of issues with flooding out west. We also have a lot of issues at the beach area. So those are all very desperately needed infrastructure programs that we need to continue to fund.
Next question is for Drew Moss. Flagler County continues to face pressure from growth, roads, public safety, drainage, and quality of life demands. What is your standard for saying yes or no to new development?
I think our new development has gotten a little out of hand. I think that any new development needs to, again, be researched. If we are growing too fast, I just see a negative from it. Our population isn't growing, our population is growing, I apologize, and the infrastructure is not keeping up with it. I'm more for a responsible, intelligent growth. Like, let's slow it down, let's rein it in. I'm a fan of the old Flagler, the Flagler that I visited down here in the 80s on vacation. I'd like to see it slow down.
I have a follow-up. Sorry, I have a follow-up question. What is your definition of responsible growth?
Not just letting anybody come in and do what they want while they're out here. A lot of stuff's happening now. We're growing with population, but I'd rather see some business come in that can put some tax dollars down and alleviate the burden on our individual taxpayers.
As a follow-up, I'm sorry, I'm from the Home Builders Association, so follow-up question. How do you balance that choice with the legal responsibility for land rights and land use, as well as the policies set in place within Flagler County?
I do not think you shouldn't be allowed to build. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that our building is outgrowing our infrastructure to be able to support it.
Leanne Pennington, this question's for you. What specific steps would you take to make Flagler County more business-friendly while maintaining transparency and protecting residents' interests?
That's a great question. One of the things that the county's been doing for quite some time, the last couple of years to date, is we've been trying to partner with the state to fund water down the US 1 corridor south. IT&T was built with a lot of houses where commercial should go on 95 and US 1. So the county has prioritized trying to get water down the US 1 corridor so that we can actually bring economic growth down that area. So that remains a top priority for the county. I think that's a game changer for the economic development. And I think that will ultimately relieve a lot of burdens off of residents once we can switch the tax base here from a resident base to an economic development base.
Denise Calderwood. Many issues require cooperation between the county, municipalities, the school board, and other agencies. How would you work with these partners to achieve better outcomes for residents?
Well, I think that's an actual easy question. The Flagler Youth Center was a project that I'd started in 1998 through the Flagler County Health Department, and there were 7 organizations that worked together in that building, including the YMCA of Flagler County. And on 3 separate occasions, the YMCA's come here and then left. I'm proud to say that that program's still here. The Flagler Playhouse is a grant that I wrote twice for, billions of dollars. And then the pile of bricks that I call in town center for the city of Palm Coast, the Flagler Arts Foundation, which is no longer in existence. So cooperation, collaboration, all the C words, except for control, is what I'm about. I believe in unifying our community as a community organizer and bringing people together. And I'm also known as a catalyst for action, so I start trouble, but I also come up with follow-up ideas. Thank you.
Teresa Pontieri, if elected, what is one county process, department, or service you believe could be improved to make local government more efficient, responsive, or customer-friendly?
I think we need to cut red tape. So I'm a traditional conservative Republican, have been a lifelong Republican, and my policymaking and my positions have been very grounded in that. Every decision I made is first grounded in my conservative principles. And a part of that is shrinking government, cutting red tape, taking away the bureaucratic systems that we have in place. With regards to that, this goes back to economic development. We need to make it more business friendly for companies to come here, stay here, and thrive here. So if we can cut red tape, take away some of the administrative processes, or at least make them a little bit more cost effective, make it more efficient. The number one thing that a business needs in order to start to flourish is to open its doors as soon as possible. When we continue to put up wall after wall and administrative step after administrative step to make it harder for businesses to open, it is more money coming out of their pocket. So we need to make it easier for them to open. We need to make it very friendly for them, business friendly for them to thrive.
This question is for Raymond Royer. What industries or types of employers should Flagler County prioritize attracting over the next 4 years, and what role should the County Commission play in that effort?
Good question. We have a problem as a nation. I don't know if you noticed, I have a Ford truck, and I was watching about how Ford dealerships, 6,000 mechanics have walked off the job. They are not making the money. Unfortunately, the pie is going upwards, and the guy that actually does the work on your vehicle does not do the work. We also have the problem within the trades. It's not keeping up. The wages are not keeping up, and I feel sorry for the contractors trying to fulfill those jobs. But we need a balance. And we could talk all day, tell the schools we need to build trades, but without having affordability incomes, livable incomes, you're going to have all kinds of issues. You're going to have alcoholism. You're going to have addictions. You're going to have everything revolves around the economy. And our economy right now is not there. Thank you.
Greg Feldman.
I thought y'all forgot me.
What county service should residents expect to improve in the next 4 years, and how will you measure whether you've delivered?
Well, that actually is something I've been talking about for a while now, and it's specifically fire rescue. Flagler County Fire Rescue last year responded to over 20,000 calls for service. That's Flagler County Fire Rescue, not the city. Of those 20,000 plus, more than 15,000 were medical calls. And those calls were handled by 9 rescues for the entire county. Now, this is where I always do a disclosure and say that both my sons are Flagler County firefighter paramedics and have been for a while. So I hear some of the stories about going call to call, 18 calls in 24 hours, 16 calls in 24 hours. So what we need to do, and Chief Tucker from the fire department has a good plan, and the plan is every 3 years add a rescue, because our population, as everybody knows, is growing. So 1 new rescue each of the 3-year periods, and we need to fully fund that by whatever means necessary for your protection, my protection, and the protection of every person that sets foot in this county. Thank you.
This will be our last round of questions. Raymond Royer, as a county commissioner, how would you balance maintaining essential services with keeping taxes and government spending under control?
Well, first of all, I do talk to Chief Tucker, and the fire department right now is down 3 firehouses. And if anybody doesn't know how that works, it works by insurance companies. It's called the ISO number. And the people that don't have a firehouse near their homes are paying a higher rate in insurance. So we need to build firehouses, not only rescue vehicles, to eliminate the workload. My understanding from Tucker is if we don't continue building firehouses with the growth we have, with 15,000 new homes coming in, that's going to be 4 firehouses needed, not 3, and now 4, because we're not keeping up. So we need to do a balance, and it's going to be a tough job, but I'm willing to dedicate a lot of time to make this happen. And like I said, I'll go to Tallahassee to try to get more grant money in order to build these firehouses. Thank you.
Flinging it right back, Greg Feldman. Hurricanes and flooding remain ongoing concerns for Flagler County. What investments or policies would you support to improve the county's resilience before, during, and after natural disasters?
It's a great question. It's almost like an emergency management question, but what I believe is we need to make sure, as was previously mentioned, our swales are clear. We need to make sure that our drainage is okay. We need to make sure that our waterways stay clear, cleaned out of debris, so that they're better able to move water. The hurricanes can do a lot of damage very quickly, as everyone knows. You have tornadoes, you have wind, you have water. You have to mitigate all that afterward. We need to work in cooperation with FEMA. We need to work in cooperation with the state of Florida. We need to get those resources here and to recover quickly. Having said that, if we're better prepared through drainage, through emergency services, the sheriff's office, the fire department, if we're ready to handle those and make sure they're fully funded so that we can do it. I mean, there's a lot more I'd go through, but my time is about up, or I'd speak about how FEMA waits 2-3 years to reimburse us, so we have to lay out that money. That's why we have strong reserves. Thank you.
Teresa Pontieri, what are the county's most pressuring infrastructure needs, and how would you prioritize investment in roads, utilities, broadband, and stormwater systems?
Well, I have to agree with Ms. Pennington in that we have to up our paving game. And one of the ways that we do that is to find more efficient ways to pave more roads. So we have the same issue in the city of Palm Coast. We have over 1,200 roads and not nearly enough money to get it all done. It costs over $1 million to pave a mile of road. So what we did was we started doing something called microsurfacing. And microsurfacing is a way to be able to put a safe and a good layer of road on top of what you already have to prevent more moisture from getting into the roadway. And it keeps your roads, it gives a longer life, a lifespan to them, but it costs like 10% of what it costs to actually mill and pave. We've been able to do almost 90 roads since I have been on city council, and that was never seen before. So we have to start getting innovative, but I do think repaving is very important. We also need to make sure we are paying attention to shoring up our dunes. Because to the previous question, if we do not have healthy dune system, it is bad for the entire county. So the dune system is very important for hurricane resilience.
Leanne Pennington. How should the county leverage tourism and recreation to strengthen the local economy while protecting the character and natural beauty that make Flagler County unique?
Can you repeat that end of that? Sorry.
How should the county leverage tourism and recreation to strengthen the local economy while protecting the character and natural beauty that make Flagler County unique?
Thank you. Well, we've been doing an excellent job, our TDT program, with advocating for more sports tourism to come to our community, which is a good fit for us. That brings a lot of heads and beds, as you've heard, and we've been able to utilize those dollars for projects, even including the beach and the dune restorations with their money. So we've been doing a good job with that. I think we need to continue on that and kind of decide what type of tourism that we want to attract, which I don't think we've clearly defined that yet in this community. But I think that we continue on with the sports. I believe that's going to be a key for us, and I think it's a good economic driver for the state of Florida. Thank you.
This question is for Denise Calderwood. If elected, what is one county process, department, or service you believe could be improved to make local government more efficient, responsive, or customer-friendly?
Okay, I think this is going to be a home run. I think it's Flagler County Human Services. And no offense, several years ago, I defended the employees that we had and advocated that they stay here. It was embarrassment for George Hahn stood up and told Pastor Sims Jones that no agency, no person should ever offend a citizen who speaks up to defend our programs. But 8 years later, and I see Joanne here, our human services in trouble. We're in crisis. Again, 67%. Saturday and Sunday, you go down US 1, all those cars lined up. They're not there for anything good. They're there for a week's worth of groceries. We have 12 food banks, okay? We don't have a United Way here anymore. We don't have a Career Source here anymore. We don't have any of the services we had here before, including a senior center. We had the #1 ranked one in the state of Florida for years. We had an excellent transportation service. We now have none of that. And so that whole division needs to go. And I met with the county administrator and told him that. Thank you.
Drew Moss. What county service should residents expect to improve in the next 4 years, and how will you measure whether you delivered?
I think the county services that should improve the most is the way that we are budgeting our funds. I see my job to keep as much money in each taxpayer's pocket as I can, and that is my promise. I can't promise to lower your taxes. I can't promise to go to rollback rate. What I can promise to do is try to bring in the right, retain the right talent, attract the right businesses, and try to make sure that you keep as much money in your pocket. If you look at your taxes over the last 15 years, I've heard people say that they've lowered taxes. My tax bill has gone up every year, right? That's just the fact of it. I'd love to see it at least stay flat. Thanks.
So, surprise, we have a question 4, but it's for all of you, and you have 30 seconds for your response. Do you support or oppose the proposed constitutional amendment on property taxes, and why? We'll start here at Greg.
Of course you started with me. Thank you. As it's written and as it has been explained, I'm against it because we will not have sufficient money to carry on with the services, not just essential, but all the services from library to parks to anything you can imagine other than public safety. And that concerns me. Should there be changes? Absolutely. The setup now is very archaic. We can do better, but I'm just not convinced that this constitutional amendment is the way to do it.
So I support cutting property taxes, and here's why. My opponent said, Mr. Feldman said that if we see tax cuts, we'll see a drastic cut to services. Well, I don't abide by that edict. and I haven't abided by that edict. I have reduced taxes each year that I've been in office, and Mr. Moss, it's because property values have risen that you've seen your property taxes go up, because the property tax rate has been dropped by both the city and the county every single year I've been in office, and at the same time, we've funded sheriff's deputies, we've funded 2 new fire stations, we've invested in economic development, and we've funded Parks and Rec. It can be done.
Well, I'm going to say I'm going to support the wishes of the voters. And if I'm elected, I will have to look at the budgets and the different departments. I will not fear something coming my way. As being a veteran and a firefighter, I learned how to look the other way at fear. It's not a big deal if it happens, okay? There's going to be some cuts. Yes, there's going to be cuts. But you got to remember, we live in a constitutional, and I wish the voters well.
I have a follow-up question to that. Because this is a constitutional amendment and it'll be a vote that you make yourself on your own ballot, the proper answer could not be whatever the constituents want. So the question is, do you support or oppose the proposed constitutional amendment?
Yes, I support it. It's on the ballot, so I support it. Yes, thank you.
Last I know, I have a right in the voting booth to keep whatever I asked as confidential for my vote and who I vote for. I vote in the people what the people wishes, just like the marijuana law. I'm thankful for my husband. I'm 100% VA disabled. I can say I'm a disabled vet. I don't pay property taxes now, and I'm very thankful because I wouldn't be able to afford to live here. I've advocated for tiny homes, alternative homes, everything in Flagler County, found money. Everybody turns all the programs down and grants and ideas. But I do support the right for it to be on the constitutional amendment. And
Hey, I think we're putting the cart a little bit before the horse. I'm not a huge fan of paying all the property taxes. However, we are quite dependent on our ad valorem taxes in Flagler County. If we cut 80% of our budget, it all goes away. The other problem is if they take your ad valorem taxes and say you don't have to pay them anymore, what are they going to replace it with? 6 other taxes that cost you more than your ad valorem taxes are already costing you? And to speak on the rollback rate, yeah, like when we have more people move into town, even if you pay the same amount of taxes you paid the previous year, we make more money.
Yes, so I am a lifelong conservative, and like Ms. Pontieri said, I absolutely support tax cuts. We've been able to cut taxes every year being in office. Unfortunately, property values in this area continue to rise. That being said, I support the tax amendment. I am a little concerned about it being a tax shift, but I guess time will tell on that. But I'll leave it to the voters to decide, and we will implement whatever they wish.
All right, Leanne, we'll finish with you. So you have your, 30 seconds for closing? So we'll start with you and we'll work our way down this way.
That went quick. No, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It is not easy to stand up here and give your ideas and thoughts on these issues, and it's very rapid too, hard to answer in 60 seconds. But very proud to have served on the commission for the last 4 years. We've asked a lot of tough questions. You've seen that. We've been able to reduce our tax rates every year. We've been able to raise the reserves every year. We've been able to get a lot of capital improvement projects that are desperately needed, and we're looking forward to the next 4 years of doing that. Thank you.
Andrew Moss, County Commission District 4. I'd really appreciate your vote on August 18th. You can go to votedrewmoss.com to find out some more information. Appreciate y'all. I'm just here to fight for you and try to keep your money in your pocket. Thanks.
Denise Calderwood, again, County Commission candidate, District 4. I'm a write-in candidate, so I'll be on the ballot. So everybody's going to have to write in Denise Woody Calderwood or some portion thereof, Denise Woody Calder, whatever you can imagine. So just write in anything. I tried to get trouble, but it didn't happen. I'm here. I'm around. Call me with your issues because I can tell you a lot of stories.
Well, thank you for everybody coming out. I'm an independent party of Florida. Our concerns are about Florida, and I'm hoping as an independent to bring the independent vote up this year. And just to let everybody also know that I'm actually on the ballot for November. I'm not in the primary. Thank you.
So I want to thank the Chamber and FCAR for hosting this tonight, and thank you for everybody who's here and for everybody who's, I'm sorry, HBA. I'm sorry, I forgot about the HBA. It wasn't purposeful, although I could understand why you may think it is. Because I have fought overdevelopment very strong. I have fought very hard to preserve what we love about the city. I'll keep doing that at the county level. I have stood in the gap and provided transparency when nobody else would, and I'll continue to do that. I am humbled to have served this community for 4 years. I look forward to serving the community for many more. I've been endorsed by our sheriff's deputies and our Palm Coast Fire Department. I'm very honored to receive their endorsement. They trust me. I hope you all will too. Thank you.
Okay, well, I feel like I need to clear something up real quick. I like tax cuts as much as the next guy. I want to see where the money's going to come from, how much we have to deal with. We're at a crossroads, both in development and other things, and I just want to say that I'm not afraid to make decisions. In the past, in my career, I've made decisions that have taken months to do. I've made decisions in seconds. And I'm just like everyone else. I pay my taxes. I live here. I want this community to be the best it can be. Thank everybody for being here. And sure, I want you to vote for me, but more importantly, please get out and vote for the primary. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up our county commission candidates. Again, like we did between the school board and the county, we have a short intermission, about 3 minutes. Again, we are broadcasting live on the air, so we need to transition these folks off and the next folks up. So Palm Coast City Council, please make your way to the stage. We'll be rejoining here in approximately 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm sure I'll see you around. Yeah, I don't have a Welcome to tonight's forum. I'm Kurt Keller with WNZF. This is live on YouTube, WNZF, and also our Facebook page. Without further ado, John Phelps with the Chamber of Commerce.
Testing.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you to all the good folks, WNZF, Flagler Broadcasting. This is airing live on the air. That's why we're moving things along pretty quickly. We can't afford to take a 5 or a 7-minute commercial break. We're going to take about 3 or 4 and then move on to the next one. So again, same rules are going to apply here. We've got all the candidates who have showed up tonight. There were 7 invited. We don't have 2 people that are not here, so this will move a little quicker than the other ones did. But again, same ground rules. There will be 90 seconds for introductions, 60 seconds for each question, 30 seconds for closing comments. Our timekeepers up front will give a flag sign at 15 seconds left, and then you'll get the stop sign when you're out of time. Everybody's been pretty respectful of that. That's the reason we're ahead of schedule, which is great. Very informational and educational. Thank you all again for being here. We will jump into candidate introductions. We're going to start from left to right across the stage. So left is this side, so that means you. Tony Amaral is up first.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you all for taking part in this because that means you care about the future of the county and the city. My name is Tony Amaral. I'm running for City of Palm Coast District 2. I'm a 43-year resident. I grew up running around the streets when there was a lot less traffic. I grew up playing in areas that are now communities, tidelands, sanctuary. Those were playgrounds for me. I like that. I am also a builder, small business owner who just happens to build homes and put people where they want to live. And I am proud of that. That gives me a distinct advantage, though. I know the city. I've worked in swales. I've had to deal with water. I've had to deal with roads. I have dealt with basically every department for the 26 years we've been a city since day one, except for HR. I guess it's not a bad thing. But at the end of the day, we have 4 generations of my family that live here. We call this place home. There is nothing I will do to change that. I'm fighting to keep my kids here with good jobs, with changing the way we look at things, and we have to make improvements. And that is my goal, and it always will be, no matter where I am, whether I'm sitting in the dais or whether I'm in the audience talking. It is where we are.
Good evening, I'm Jeannie Duarte, and thank you for hosting this event. I'm running for Palm Coast City Council District 2. I am retired. I am married to a retired Marine. We have 8 children between us and 8 grandchildren. I have been in Palm Coast for 10 years. We invested in 4 houses out here in Palm Coast, 3 of which we had as short-term rentals and long-term rentals. Thank God we sold those. I'm a volunteer out here. My first city council meeting was August 27, 2024. They were fighting on the dais over the provision 3E that went on our ballot to vote. And I actually second that motion to have the language removed from the ballot. So had that passed, they would have removed the restrictions we have on entering into public-private partnerships. And, well, let me start here. They would have removed our right to vote on issues by referendum, removed the spending cap, removed the 36-month repayment deadline, and removed the restrictions the city has on entering into lease purchase contracts or multi-year contracts. My time's up, darn. Thank you so much. I'm running for Palm Coast City Council District 2.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Mic check, mic check. My name is Delana D. Galler, and I'm running for Palm Coast City Council District 4. Remember, District 4, not District 2, District 4. I am a proud UCF political science major, or graduate, excuse me. Just recently graduated. Woohoo, charge on. I come up from a military family, so I was taught about the importance of service, integrity, and accountability. Those are kind of the foundations that I have for my platform. My campaign is about bringing people together, listening to every voice, and making decisions that put our community first. I look forward to answering your questions tonight, earning your support, your vote, and working together to build an even stronger Palm Coast. Thank you, guys.
Hello, my name is John Caveteris. I am a true homegrown candidate. I have been a resident of Palm Coast since 1999. I am a proud Indian Trails FPC graduate, and throughout my 20s, I had the incredible opportunity to travel the world. I've lived in several different states. I've seen how others manage their budgets and infrastructures, and how they've also mismanaged it at times. Over the years, I've watched our own city transform under past city councils. Some of that growth was positive, and some of it was tough to swallow. I've seen a lot of unsolved flooding issues, rapid out-of-control development, and current infrastructure that simply isn't able to keep up with what's going on today. As some of you can tell, I am not a career politician. I am a business owner. I've done junk removal and moving and worked in casinos for 7 years. And I'm running for Palm Coast City Council, District 4.
Good evening. I want to thank the host and everybody here tonight for this opportunity. I have proudly called Palm Coast home for the past 18 years. I am a father, a grandfather, and a graduate with a bachelor's degree in business administration. My background includes military service, law enforcement, banking, mortgage underwriting, and small business ownership. Throughout my life, I have been committed to serving others. I had the privilege of serving with 4 distinguished residents on the Palm Coast Charter Review Committee. I have also been actively involved in nonprofits and faith-based organizations throughout Flagler County, and founded my own 501c3. I believe in integrity, transparency, and thoughtful consideration of our residents. I work to build consensus where others see division, and I will bring that leadership to the Palm Coast City Council. I respectfully ask for your support. Thank you for the opportunity to answer your questions.
First question is for you, Tony. Palm Coast continues to evolve as one of Florida's fastest growing cities. What is your vision for the city's future, and what are your top 3 priorities if elected?
Thank you. My vision for Palm Coast is simple. It's keeping the hometown feel that we've had. We have growing issues. We have some pains we're dealing with. But the vision is to keep that. Priorities that we have to keep this is diversifying our tax base by bringing in jobs, commercial, industrial. It will keep our youth here. We're not having that brain drain where everyone just leaves and doesn't come back. Our infrastructure needs to be maintained and held accountable for failures, and also to improve everything before that growth gets out of hand. And then it's transparency. Every issue should sit before council and be clear. If it's not clear, it was never a good issue to begin with, and we need to sit there and make sure that everyone understands it. Thank you.
This question is for Jeannie Duarte. Local voters are tired of campaign slogans. Name one specific vote, policy, or budget decision you would handle differently than the current board or council, and explain exactly what you would do instead.
Very good question. One thing that has come up recently is the ICI development, where they approved entitlements for that property. And I'm completely against what happened. Most of you know, maybe some of you do not know, that one of our board members on the dais took donations from the developer and then approved their entitlements. I am completely against that. I think they should have rescinded their vote and We have two things on the dais that's so important, two words, yes or no, and there's consequences with those words. Thank you.
This next question is for Delana D. Gallery. Do you believe Palm Coast has a revenue problem, a spending problem, a planning problem, or a prioritization problem? Pick one primary answer and defend it.
Thank you for the question. If I had to choose one, I would definitely say that we have a planning problem. We've experienced a lot of growth, but there's too often that the infrastructure has been playing catch up, essentially. When roads, utilities, parks, and public safety, it's not keeping up with the pace. So if you put pressure on our budget, it affects everyone's quality of life. That's exactly why I created the PALM plan. It's a community-driven roadmap focused on responsible growth, stronger infrastructure, economic development, and transparency. Thank you.
This question is for John Cavederis. How would you define attainable housing for Palm Coast residents? What actions would you take in your role if elected to create attainable housing?
So one of the things we need to look at is we do have a lot of issues going on with Airbnb, and it is getting crowded. Some businesses are using these housing developments to rent it out that way, and it's eating up into our system. It's getting really overcrowded. We need to probably put limits on things like this and look at ways to cap it. I think programs like that are a great source of revenue for people who want to rent out a room or things like that, but I think that's one big thing we need to look at for change there.
The next question is for Ramon Marrero. What lessons did you learn from your time on the Charter Review Committee that could help you in your role on City Council?
I learned that things are easier said than done. There are a lot of challenges that we confront here in the city of Palm Coast. Infrastructure is one heavily sought out, but there's also economic growth. One goes by the other, and I think we have to emphasize on both equally.
Moving on to round number 2. This question is for Jeannie Duarte. Palm Coast remains heavily reliant on residential property taxes. What strategies would you support to diversify the city's tax base and expand commercial and industrial opportunities?
Thank you for a question. That's a good question. Our city is not, let's see. We do not utilize the assets that our city has. We have the beaches, the I-95, the intercoastal, and the rail lines. We're not utilizing that. As far as tax base goes, I approve the tax cuts. I think we're very bloated on our higher end. We have a mayor and council that their compensation was actually the actual dollar amount that was on our charter, that was embedded in our charter, was removed in 2018. Then in 2019, they gave themselves a 151% pay raise. Then they also got yearly raises. They get insurance, they get benefits on top of that. We never approved any of that. The citizens need to be in charge, not the council.
I have a follow-up question. I understand the issues that you have with that, but what strategies would you support to actually diversify the city's tax base? Like, what would you actually do?
As far as diversifying the tax base, I would look into location, and utilize the city's assets. We need beach access. We need to have stop and go revenue that's visible from the freeway. We have zero revenue that's visible from the freeway whatsoever. Utilizing our rail line, I would love to see a luxury rail line in that area, and we need to preserve our wetlands. We don't need to be building homes and filling in our wetlands with homes. We need to preserve that for the future of Palm Coast. Thank you.
Tony Amaral, what do you believe are the most important opportunities and challenges associated with Palm Coast's westward expansion?
Is everybody's finger burning yet from that hot button? Listen, the westward expansion needs to be done correctly. It's been on the books in one way or another in 2 different DRIs right now, and they're going to change it to make one big one. The potential is there we need land. If we want to bring in industry, Palm Coast has 0, we have 1 lot, I apologize, 1 lot left, if I'm not mistaken, for the industrial sites. The westward expansion is our gateway to getting that land. They have promised, we have to hold them to it. That is our biggest asset. We have to make sure that we negotiate that plan where that land is ready to go early. We can't wait till they're 80% built out. We can't wait till 50% built out. We need it early, and we need to get those jobs, those sites pad ready to move forward, to keep bringing us closer to the future that we should all have, which is a diversified tax base and good paying jobs.
Our next question is for Ramon Marrero. How would you handle the tension between residents who say, stop building, and the reality that property rights, housing demand, and infrastructure funding are all connected?
I would say that the growth is here and we have to confront it the most responsible and intelligent way possible. We need to make this opportunity, for example, the West expansion, an example of how to do things right, how to do them the correct way. And that's just what I think. Thank you.
This question is for John Kveteris. How would you assess the City of Palm Coast's current economic development efforts, and what improvements or changes would you prioritize?
Right, so like I've said in the past before, we'd have to go over all the data, scroll through, see where our spending is most needed to be reallocated. It's just like simple common sense. We need infrastructure first before anything to handle all these kind of things like the westward development, and we need better roads. I mean, there's situations that are being ignored, like Old Kings Road and 100, that simply can't go untaken care of anymore. I think it has to start there, and that's what we would look at first.
T. Gallery, this is for you. Palm Coast has faced criticism over governance and communication with the residents. How would you improve trust and transparency in City Hall?
Thank you for that question. I think when it comes to trust, trust is earned through transparency, communication, and being accessible. Palm Coast has really great tools for us to be accessible. Just for example, with city council meetings or just getting information for the city, we use the Palm Coast Connect app. I think what we need to do is refer back to that. While I was out getting petitions, some of the concerns that I heard is a lot of people don't know about it, and it really just takes to educate the residents of what we already have, so that way they have access to that and it's transparent and accessible. Part of my platform, the Palm Plan, That's that L in there, that leadership that listens, just really listening to residents of what they're looking for and being transparent and giving them what they need. The other thing that I would also talk about with transparency and public trust is making sure that they're involved in city council meetings and making sure that they have a voice in that as well too.
This question is for Tony Emerald. What infrastructure projects should be the city's highest priorities over the next 4 years, and how would you fund them?
Infrastructure projects. We need, and we are doing, we had the bond for utilities. We need to make sure that those bonds are being used properly, that they're being used to increase the capacity, that they've improved, and they're doing the replacements. It is funded through the bond plus our utility rates. The next one is going to be our roads. Our roads need to be taken care of. I have people telling me, hey, can you at least just reline the roads? It's a safety issue at night or when it's raining heavily. That's going to be more. We had funding in the past. We used to set aside money. As one person on the council, I need 2 other people to agree, and we need to figure out what that number is and then work on the budget. That is very important. So, thank you.
Sorry about that. Sheriff, the light went straight from green to red. There was no yellow. He did not run the stop sign. This next question is for Jeannie Duarte. What specific changes would you make to improve Palm Coast's business climate?
We need to be more business friendly. We need to support our local businesses and advertise them. Advertisement is super hard out here. We're not, for one, the freeway. We have no visible signage on the freeway letting people know that they can stop for gas stations or the restaurants that are below them. Thank you.
This next question is for D Gallery. How would you invest in parks, trails, and recreational amenities to keep pace with population growth?
So I think we could all agree that, first off, thank you for the question. I think that we all can agree one of the reasons that we moved here is for the parks, recreations. A lot of people are pickleball players in here, or I was a lacrosse player when I was here, when I went to school down here. So I would focus on maintaining the parks that we already have and then maintaining grants and private sectors to make sure the ones that we're going to put in, stay pace with the growth that's coming into Palm Coast. Thank you.
This question is for John Cavetaris. If staff recommends a major fee increase and the residents overwhelmingly oppose it, what would you need to see in the data before voting yes anyway?
So I think what we need to do is look at, is there any wasteful spending we can cut first? Where is this money going? What's happening with it? What's the explanation for it? And why does it need to happen before we process anything like that? There's always somewhere you can cut first to make an impact or a lesser impact to the residents of Palm Coast before doing anything like that.
This question is for Ramon Mamero. Palm Coast remains heavily reliant on residential property tax. What strategies would you support to diversify the city's tax base and expand commercial and industrial opportunities?
As you said, Palm Coast relies heavily on residential property tax. We need a stronger, more balanced tax base. The best way to achieve this is by attracting commercial and light industry development other than retail. That brings high-paying jobs and expands our tax base. I support investing in pad-ready sites and using responsible incentives to attract quality employers. By working together with citizens, city leaders, businessmen, and residents, we can strengthen our economy, reduce the tax burden on homeowners, and ensure that Palm Coast's long-term financial stability.
Question 4. For all of you, and you have 30 seconds to reply. So we'll start here with Tony. Do you support or oppose the proposed constitutional amendment on property taxes, and why?
30 seconds for a 6-month question. It's simple. The plan is not fully developed yet. I can't support anything that doesn't have all the details. We are going to have to figure out how to get the money. It will be drastic changes we'll all have to work with. At the end of the day, we all need to live here and have the services we expect. So I am right now opposed to it.
Thank you for the question. I actually approve it. My husband and I, we benefit from that. Homestead, you're not having to pay. He is a retired Marine, so we are not paying that. But when we had our rentals, we paid on all 3 of those rentals. And I support it because I believe in homesteads not being forced out, homeowners not being forced out if they can't afford their taxes. Thank you.
Testing. Okay, just making sure you guys hear me when I say no, I do not support it. I just want to make sure that you guys get that clear. I do not support it. Just as Tony mentioned, it's the transparency, right? There's not a lot of information for us. What's going to get cut up front, something on the back end is going to get cut as well too. So you have to keep that in mind. So no, I do not support it. I don't even need 10 seconds left for that.
I actually do support it. I have watched my own family struggle to survive to live here. My mom bought a house and had a tremendous struggle this past year just trying to afford to maintain it and stay afloat. There's a lot of unexpected costs and there's a lot of unexpected situations that are going to occur from it, but just like everything, we find a way to make it up somewhere else.
I oppose it. We don't know where the money's going to come from. That's the bottom line. We have serious problems in Palm Coast, and we need serious answers. What we don't need is having the money that we use to pay for our infrastructure and deals taken away from us. We need to come up with a more intelligent strategy than just throw a blanket over everything and say yes or no. Thank you.
All right, we'll continue with Ramon. We'll continue with you. Just your 30-second closing, and then we'll come down the line this way.
Once more, I want to thank the host and everybody here tonight. My participation in the Charter Review Committee inspired me to seek office. I am a proven community leader and problem solver, committed to serving others. I have dedicated myself to making Palm Coast a better place to live through my work in local nonprofits and faith-based organizations. I bring education, business experience, and years of living in Palm Coast needed to thoughtful, responsible decisions for the city's future. I will voice the reason who listens, builds consensus, and always puts our residents first. I respectfully ask for your vote and your support. Thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody for having me here tonight, and I definitely would like to see all of you in the future. My background in financial management and business development for the city is a lens of strict financial responsibility, not personal ambition. I don't pretend to know everything. I do know how to listen, though. We need an infrastructure first plan, and That's what we got to do going forward.
Well, y'all got me hyped up today. So remember, my name is Delana D. Galler, and I'm running for Palm Coast City Council District 4, not 2, District 4. I am your candidate and your choice for District 4. Follow me for more information at DelanaGallery.com. I will see you guys on August 18th at the polls. I ask for your support, I ask for your vote, and I ask to earn your trust tonight. God bless Palm Coast.
Palm Coast has changed their charter several times without putting an amendment to the vote of the electors. Our data centers, wastewater to potable water, loop roads, mass development, and traffic roads and other infrastructure issues are a result of that, as well as flooding. This used to be our charter, 66 pages. In 2018, we were provided with in 2018, we were provided with 3 little amendments. With those amendments, they changed our charter in its entirety. We did not vote for that. And in 2022, the city and council gave themselves 151% pay raise. The commission that's for the city and mayor were removed after the 2018 election. We did not vote for that. I want transparency, responsibility, accountability, consistency, and ethical conduct. Thank you.
August 18th, the choice is yours. I have the knowledge to lead from day one. My background proves it. I'm in there, I'm doing the work. I'm possibly the one up here who knows the most about this city. We've got great candidates for District 4. Good luck in choosing those. I'm your choice for 2. At the end of the day, my knowledge to lead and those 4 people in the back are what gives me the integrity to serve each and every one of you day in and day out. On August 18th, I look for your vote, and it would be an honor to have it. Thank you.
Thank you all again for attending tonight. It's been a very educational, informational evening. I want to say thanks to Amanda, who is our timekeeper, part of the FCAR staff, and all of the FCAR team for hosting us here tonight. A couple of quick announcements. I said them early, but they are very important. As a closed primary state, if you wish to vote for a partisan office in the August 18th primary, you must be registered as a member of that party. The deadline to change is July 20th, 2026. July 20th is also the deadline to register to vote. Go to flaglerelections.gov. You can use the voter lookup tool to see your current party affiliation, your address on file, and your election day polling location. And as of earlier today, a sample ballot is posted there. Please view the sample ballot to help you on election day. Remember, there are 3 ways to vote in Florida: at your assigned precinct polling location on election day, at one of 5 early voting locations in Flagler County, or by mail. To vote by mail, you must request a VBM ballot by August 6th. You can request a VBM ballot by calling the Supervisor of Elections office or going to their website. VBM ballots must be received by the Supervisor of Elections no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day, which is August 18th. Early voting starts on August 8th and runs through the 15th. The hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. The list of early voting locations is available at flaglerelections.gov. You can also drop off your VBM ballot, that's vote by mail, sorry, VBM ballot at an early voting location by depositing it into a secure ballot intake box. And remember, Election Day is August 18th for the primary at your assigned precinct polling place. And those locations are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for participating. Thank you for learning. And go out and vote. Thank you.